gameydaddy.
Hello everyone, this is Emmond with gameydaddy and I'm here with another video from Tom Clancy's The Division. Today I'm going to bring you my tutorial on how to beat Napalm Production Site on Legendary. Now before I start, I'm going to propose 8 paradigms within which I'll be doing this tutorial. They're pretty much the guidelines that are going to guide everything I'm going to say. They've been very essential in helping me beat this mission, and mostly even during matchmaking, not even when I was running with my teammates and all that good stuff. Now for this whole video, I've already put some timestamps in there for you. If you want to just click through each section and how to beat it and how we beat it, then go ahead and do that. That way you don't have to watch the whole thing. But I would suggest you watch the first part because that kind of like is the summary of everything that I want to discuss. Now the first paradigm is this: you have to be patient. Don't start a legendary mission if you are supposed to take out the trash or you have some chores to do. As of now, there's no such thing as a speed run for legendary missions when you matchmake. In fact, even a min-max coordinated team has to deal with random behavior patterns from these NPCs. So make sure that you want to take time, you want to be patient, you don't want to rush, you want to just take your time, mow through the enemies and do it. There's no penalty for doing it in 1 hour. There's no penalty. There's no reward for doing it in 45 minutes. So be patient, take your time. The second thing is this: fine-tune long-range weapons like LMGs, marksman rifles, and assault rifles. These weapons can hit from a very good distance. I mean, if you notice, prepared is a talent that enables, that gives you more damage when you're hitting from about 30 meters away. So that tells you that your even your assault rifle can hit from that distance. So make sure you fine-tune a good one, craft one. If you pick up one, even if it's not one that has a high rate of fire, as long as it does good damage, make sure that you're using it. Now I know you want to run those SMGs, but make sure you're keeping those for when you get in close combat. When the runners try to rush up on you, your SMGs can come in valuable there. But most importantly, sniping is the way to go in this, because you do more damage, you hit headshots, and the NPCs are less aggressive because they don't want you to hit them continuously, so they hide from time to time. Number 3, run the most OP gear you can get your hands on. It doesn't even matter what gear set it is. Just make sure it's good, make sure it's strong, make sure it's very good. Now it doesn't have to be min-max. Don't get me wrong, when I say OP, I don't mean min-max. If you found a gear set that does the job that you want it to do, whether it's skill power, whether it's healing, whether it's DPS, make sure you're running that build and make sure it's good for the entire team. Number 4, make sure that you gear up to play a specific role on the team if possible. Now, many people may not notice, but when armor got taken away and the legendary missions dropped, the game eventually shifted, and it shifted where team play is designed, especially in these legendary missions and in the new incursion, to support teams where everyone is playing one role or the other. Now, are you going to run DPS? Have you answered that question when you're building to go for these missions? Or can the team count on you to play healer? Another thing is, does anyone in that team have a good crowd control in case rushers are to come at you? These are some of the questions that you must answer as you're going into legendary missions. I remember that this mission that we played, everybody carried a support station. Even the guy sniping had an ammo cache so that he could keep, retrieving ammo from there as much as possible. So these are some of the things you need to think about when you're gearing up. Number 5, you want to keep a good distance. Personally, I like to play in cover, so that's less of a problem for me. But if you're the person that's quick to rush, don't do it. Even when you're in cover, you want to still make sure that they don't throw a grenade at you, because what that grenade will do is it will knock you out of cover just to get you focused, and then you're bleeding and all this stuff. So you want to make sure that the distance is very good and you keep a good one. So another advantage, and talking about distance, you have to consider that if you see an NPC running at you from distance, you have enough time to be able to burst them down. Even if your gear set is nonsense, even if you're running Lone Star, if they are like 30 meters from you, before they come close, they'll be dead. Anything you hit them with. So consider distance as something that's your friend and not your enemy. Number 6 is, if you have experience while playing the mission, make sure you communicate with the team. If you know exactly what to do when you're playing with a lot of people that are just rushing a bunch of noobs, don't get frustrated and just walk away from them. Politely come on and say, hey guys, I've beaten this mission before. Who else has beaten it? Ask questions and say, okay, this is what I think we should do, and I don't think we need to rush. Because honestly, some people are very quick to rush. They always want to rush. And so you might be the person who, you know, is the voice of reason, so that they don't cause a huge, you know, let me say, inconvenience for the team if they go down in some awkward area and then the NPCs surround them and you guys can't revive them. Number 7 is this: pay close attention. You want to watch out if your teammates are down. You want to make sure that when you're scoped in, they don't sticky bomb you. You always want to make sure that you're looking out for snipers. You want to make sure that you're looking out for, you know, medics and, you know, healers and stuff. You want to make sure that you're trying to hit blind spots. So pay close attention. Find explosive material that you can shoot to blow up the enemy if they're standing close to, you know, an area like that. And finally, learn the dynamics of each mission. For this is all I'm gonna say. It's imperative to learn how and where each wave spawns in every mission. There are also some places that's good to take cover. There's some places that are just bad, you know, like if you have your back against the wall. I didn't even know that till today. The person that, one of the guys that we played with, kept saying, try as much as possible not to have your back against the wall, so that if something were to happen, you have enough room to, you know, back away and run away, just to, you know, get cover and, you know, get yourself in a good place to be able to take down your enemies. So these are the paradigms that I use, and, you know, everything I'm going to talk about is going to be in here. So if you want to quit watching the video right now and you want to go try all of these, no problem. But if you need some more detail, then keep watching and we're going to get into the crux of the matter. Now, let's start. First things first. Everybody knows that Napalm is divided into 6 specific areas. Now, I'm just going to refer to them as sections 1 through 6 because I don't know what they're called. You know, the developers probably had a name for them. Now, here are my strategies for beating this mission on Legendary. Section 1 is pretty straightforward. You position yourself out of sight as much as possible and you shoot from afar. I know I like SMGs too, but for the most part, you're going to be firing your assault rifle or your LMG, or most importantly, and even more beneficial, your marksman rifle, because that's just the best possible outcome that you can get. Now, you're going to get a wave of maybe 1 or 2 rushers. If they make it upstairs, then you can use your SMGs to crush them. So no, don't be sad. You can get use out of them, but get that marksman rifle ready, man, because it's going to do you the best possible damage from the distance that you're at. Now, the distance is very key. In legendary missions, you want to stay as far away from these NPCs as possible, because the farther you are, the more likely you can burst them down, the more likely you can take them down with headshots, deal more damage, and, you know, take them out, especially those rushers. They make life very difficult. Section 2 is a different area. It's quite different from the first section, because usually in a team, you know, people can stay upstairs or somebody can come downstairs, but someone will usually come down to this spot. But if I do that, my approach when I come down there is that I come there quietly. My job is to take out the NPCs when they're not focused on me. When they start focusing on my team upstairs, it gives me an opportunity to land clean headshots. It gives me an opportunity to hit the weak points for these shield guys so that I can explode their ammo cache. And if they're providing enough threat upstairs, if my guys are providing enough threat, I can easily help take out the medic. One of the most important aspects of this area is taking down that medic as quickly as you can. You don't want to give him any rest. Once you can destroy his support station, make sure he doesn't place another one. If he goes into a corner, throw a grenade. If he tries to run and hide somewhere, just continue to fire at him. You don't want him to place a second everlasting support station in an awkward place while you guys are trying to get it. Now, also, make sure that you don't get sticky bombed when your whole attention is facing that medic, because you want to make sure that you can retreat whenever you get bombed. Another thing you can do is, for the medics, you can throw one of the disruptor grenades and it'll disrupt their support stations for a little bit. Make sure that you're using your grenades wisely, and if you don't have any, communicate to your team and tell them, hey, who's got a disruptor grenade, throw it at the support station and it'll disrupt it for a little bit. Section 3, I think, is the most important area to clear, because you have multiple waves of NPCs, but on this particular mission that you're watching the footage, we just all stuck together in the top left area. That way we could do, you know, we could drop our support stations, we could mow down any rushers that came, and, you know, we could effectively all snipe together if there was any need. Now, if you're using elevated as well, you know, your marksman rifle is going to have a big plus to be able to take down all these NPCs that are on the bottom, because elevated gives you an extra 10% damage. Now, this is what I'm going to call section 3.1, because after you take out like 2-3 waves of NPCs, this is where you're going to get a timer saying prepare for assault. Now, the default way for everybody to do this is to run upstairs, you know, the scaffolding that's facing, you know, these what do I call them, wherever the heck they're going to spawn from after you get that notification. But the person that I played with, one of these guys that I played with, his name is Niv Nobus, and I'm going to give him credit credit for this. This dude just told our team, hey, a much more better way to play is a conservative way. So he just said, everybody move back to the gate, back up to the gate, and when the rushers are coming, we just lay down some CC, prepare for them, and we can get them at not really close range, but we have enough room to be able to mow them down. And so what we did is we just came outside the gates, we put down some CC, I used my flame turrets, and dropped down some grenades, and one of the guys in our team was running sticky, and we just took them down. Now the good thing about this area is you're eventually going to back up as the waves keep coming, because you're going to have you're going to have elites eventually show up, first the regulars and then veterans, and then once the elites come, you might have to back up way back into section 2 because you're able to just shoot them. Now for some reason, the moment we backed up into section 2, some of the shotgunners will not come into where we were, the runners. They just stayed back where they were. Some of them will stay far away, or they just hid, and this was weird. So what we just did was just snipe them and took them down. Plus, once again, this is another application of getting good distance between you and the NPCs. One thing I've noticed is if you have a lot of distance, unless they're shotgunners, they're not going to rush you, because when you have proximity, when they have the proximity, they're going to try to flank you, they're going to try to draw near and body you and all that crazy stuff, and you don't want that. Okay, now section 4, pretty much the same strategy that you use in section 1. Rinse, repeat. Pick a good spot, focus on the healer. If you have a sniper, you can just clean them out gradually. There are a lot of nice spots to hide here, and so it's a very good place to play sniper, or to just carefully take down NPCs while you're at it. Section 5 is where you have the shield guys. Now you can go in with one of two approaches. You can go up the platform on your left when you enter, or you can climb all the way on the top of the scaffolding that's right in front of the stairs. But you have to be very careful when you go up there, especially if you're going up there by yourself. It might be difficult to revive you, so if you have a support station, you want to put it down. That's where a good one comes into play. The second strategy is drawing the big dudes downstairs. So if you don't want to go in there, you send one person up there, they throw a grenade, they shoot some bullets, and they run back into section 4, and as the big dudes show up and come downstairs, then you guys can mow them down one by one. Now once in a while 2 of them will run at the same time, but you have enough room out there to be able to even back up all the way if you need to, and you could take them down as soon as possible. So this can take you anywhere from 3-4 minutes, or if you don't do it right, or if you have some struggles, it can take at least 10 minutes. But the main thing is that we don't want you to die, because if everybody on your team should wipe, guess what's going to happen? You're gonna have to go back to the checkpoint, or if you even wipe before here, you're gonna have to start all the way from the beginning. All right, moving to section 6. This is the final section, and it's pretty much a tricky one, because you got to be aware that once you take down each agent, you're going to get spawns of NPCs. The building is going to catch, is going to light on fire, and you're going to be using most of your time, instead of shooting, wiping and trying to fan off flames from your body. Now I can't remember the order, but the strategy that I've used many times is to stay upstairs. That's the best one that I know. Use your immunizers. Everybody uses an immunizer because you want to mitigate the burn and the burn effect and the on fire status that you have. Now if you have the ferrous oxygen mask, this is where it's going to come into very good use, especially for the DPS dealers. But if you don't have it, the immunizer is fine. Now watch out for all these agents. They are very tricky, but if you guys can take out Widow, then that's going to be great, because I think Widow is the one that provides the healing. If that's wrong, somebody correct me in the comments below, but make sure you focus on the one that takes down the healing, and they will run away. If they run away, then pick another target, focus on them, and then try to burst them down. Now another thing is, in this last phase, you have to be careful, because there are all kinds of wipes just waiting to happen, so be careful. The first spawn after drowning, I think after downing one of the agents, is the shotgunners are going to come. So you want to CC them, put down some crowd control, a turret. The flame turret's always my favorite one to go to, and then you take them down. Now these agents as well can also try to come upstairs. I remember this mission, both of them came upstairs, one from one stair, the other from the other set of stairs, and they tried to gang up on us. So we backed up a little bit. We didn't back up, we literally ran away for a little bit and ran way into the corner, and eventually started taking them down, reviving each other and all that good stuff. So one of the things I'll say here is be very patient, take your time. Eventually, if you start taking them down one by one, you're going to press them all the way to the down floor, and you want to be very careful when you do that. So take them down, press on as carefully and as slowly as possible, And another thing you want to do is make sure that every single NPC you take down, because they also do a lot of damage. So don't ignore them. If you are in a good position and you see one of them, you know, alert your team and try to take them down as well, because if all of them were to focus on you, you're down in one instant. So that's pretty much the strategy that I've used and the one that I think is very successful. And for those who are having a lot of issues playing, especially on console, because a lot of people on console did not, you know, take any time to test out the PTS. So a lot of people are approaching this mission like every other mission, and that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to take your time, be patient, and expect to spend an hour or even more on each particular mission that you do. So thank you so much for listening and watching. If you like this video, go ahead and leave a thumbs up. If you have anything to add in the comments, any other strategies that you have, feel free to do so. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you like videos like this. I'm gonna try to walk through all the legendary missions in the next few days. I'm gonna try to put those videos together. So I appreciate you guys for listening and watching. Thank you once again, and peace.